Hello everyone. Happy Monday. It's Christine from Christine Stamping Spot. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Alberta, Canada. And thank you for joining me today from wherever you might be watching. So today we are going to take a look at this Twisted in Time bundle. Now this one is not in any catalog. It's actually one of our online exclusives. So you can find that in the online exclusive section of the Stampin' website. So you're welcome to look at my website if you like to find it. So this is the stamp set, really different. You can make some different trees, and it also has some little greetings. It is a photopolymer set, and these are the dies. And this is actually what drew me to this stamp set, was these dies. I thought they were really neat and very detailed. So you have a really large greeting banner here and some different detail pieces to cut out your trees. So really unique, I think. So I thought, well, we're going to give this a whirl today and see what we can come up with for this project. So this is what we are going to make. Very simple, actually. There's just a couple of steps with a tree. But other than that, it's really quite a simple card that comes together quite quickly. And we are going to use one of our retiring in colors for this. And if you can tell by the base, we are going to be using copper clay. Now, there are a group of retiring in colors this year: the copper clay, the boho blue, Modi mauve, pebble path, and wild wheat, and very beautiful subtle kind of patterns in there. So we are going to give that a go and a look today. And I wanted something for this background. Now, I don't know if you recognize where this came from. So instead of using an embossing folder or just regular cardstock, I don't know, I wanted something that was kind of a neat sort of background. So I found this in the Everyday Skies designer paper pack. It's a 6x6 pack that is also an exclusive, and it is part of the Everyday Arches suite or bundle. And these are what the designs look like in here. So you get 48 sheets, and these are really great. You know what I first thought about, which stamp set I first thought about when I saw this paper, was the one with the airplane that we have that's fairly new. And I thought, oh my gosh, you could, have all kinds of airplanes and themes going through here. So on the one side, you've got a lot of just clouds, all clouds really, in different color motifs. So you've got, a wide selection from very bright to very subtle to very neutral. You've got a whole bunch of different patterns. This is a really bright one. So the one side is all of these sort of different sky elements. Now, does this not remind you of when you've ever maybe traveled in a plane and you're up above the clouds, or just about to go above the clouds? That's what that one reminds me of. And so yeah, you've got a variety of those, and then you've got these sort of darker ones, and these are the ones that I thought, that would be kind of an interesting background. So this is the one that I chose, is this one here. So kind of a nighttime background, and then you've got this lovely one that is like a night sky. It looks like you've got that, like you're looking up at the stars. So I thought that was really cool. And then on the back, you've got just some subtle patterns. So this one, you've got sort of some stars, and then, sort of some, just sort of like paint, paint swabs with that. And so you've got a whole variety of different color palettes. This looks like little swallows or birds. And you can interpret them however you like, right? They got some more of that paint kind of, swatches, when you use your paintbrush. Some sort of subtle lines in there, some more kind of a night sky. So all kinds of color palettes. So, I thought this paper is also great for just as a background. So I just wanted to show you that briefly. Okay, so back to our project. So as mentioned, we're going to use a piece of our copper clay. as our base. So I am going to miss these colors. They just sort of went really nicely together with a lot of different colors, and I just really was drawn to them. Okay, and then we are going to put on a piece of Very Vanilla. Excuse me. Very Vanilla as a layer. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean you have to use designer paper. You know, you could use whatever you wanted as a layer, but this is that one that I chose. So the background is like a blue. So if you don't want like a sky, you could definitely just go to this Misty Moonlight. I think this is the blue. So you could definitely just go to that, and that all matches, I think, lovely too. But I'm going to go with this sort of night sky kind of look for me. This almost looks, the way it's been cut, like, you know, a bit of sand or, you know, ground cover anyway of some sort. I'm just sort of, my mind is just kind of floating around in the clouds here. You can make of this paper whatever you like. You know, however you interpret it, or however you would like to use it with whatever stamp set. But okay, so there is our base. That is done. So for our tree, what I did was I took a piece of the Very Vanilla, and this image here, I inked this up in the copper clay cards, or copper clay ink, I'm sorry. Now, you could do this in any color. You know, if you wanted just to stick with the greens, I've seen it done in blues. You could even use that wild wheat to maybe mix in a bit of the copper clay, kind of a fallish kind of look. You know, I've seen it a little bit in Pretty Peacock, looked really cool. And just because of the way the stamp is how it's made, this is how it comes out when it's done. Okay, so you've got some darker patches on it. This is, I'm guessing, one of our more distinctive stamps where, you know, the stamp is sort of manufactured a little bit different, and you've got light spots and dark spots. So I thought that was really cool. And then I cut it out with the die. So we have this large tree die right here that will cut out your whole tree. And so we still have this trunk here, which is fine because we're going to be incorporating that too. You could cut it off if you don't want it, if you just wanted, you know, to use the tree cover. But I'm just going to leave it. So then I also used one of the more detailed dies to cut out the trunk and the branches out of crumb cake. And then I cut out the overlay, the detailed overlay of the tree. I used an adhesive sheet, and I cut this out of Early Espresso. Okay, so we are going to layer this on top of that crumb cake base, and it is just going to really give it a lot of detail here. So there are some little bits. Just make sure that they've all come out after you take it off of the sheet. And then I'm just going to start at the bottom. Okay, sometimes it's easier for me to just hold this and get it started. So it's going to go kind of right in the center of this crumb cake. Now just watch that you don't rip it, because it is very, very delicate, and it just kind of falls into place. Like with the adhesive sheets, they are a little bit forgiving, so you can kind of reposition. You know, if you're not really happy where it's fallen initially, you can kind of reposition it. So let's just kind of move it around a little bit. And I mean, if it does happen to tear or rip, I mean, with that adhesive sheet on the back, you can kind of just puzzle it back together. So you're just going to give it a little press. And is that not so cool? How it adds that detail to the tree? I think that's really, really neat. Okay, I'm wondering if I can maybe move this one over just a smidgen. Like I say, they are pretty forgiving. And I think I've mentioned many times, I love the adhesive sheets because they don't have the mess of all the glue on such a detailed die. you know, but glue is fine if you're comfortable with that. Sometimes I've seen on these very delicate dies, people use a sponge and just dip it in their liquid glue and just sort of rub it on the back. And that way you don't have a lot of seepage either. So that's another great way to adhere them. Okay, so now we are going to put this on top of this with our tree top. So as you can see, this trunk covers that other vanilla trunk exact. Look at that. So you don't even see it, and it gives you a little more stability when you want to put this on your card. So I am just going to add some adhesive on here. This is where you could use your liquid glue for sure. I'm just going to gently add some on these branches. I don't know, I just like my Stamp and Seal. It's kind of just sort of the one, my go-to adhesive usually. Okay, so let's again start towards the bottom, and we're just going to line this up exact with that vanilla. Okay, and cover that vanilla. And then this will just fall into place where it needs to be. Okay, so there is your tree. Is that not just so cool? And like I say, you can just, you know, change up the color of your tree tops, whatever you like, whatever cardstock you like to work with. It goes with all of those. It's just really versatile. Okay, so to finish, we are going to add our tree onto our base, but I am going to pop it up with some dimensionals. Oops. So we'll add a few here to just make sure it's going to lie even on the base. It is a really large tree top when you think of it. Okay, so we will put this, so the trunk is kind of what I consider the ground cover here. It's almost like a sandy cover. All right, and then our greeting. I chose the Keeping Tabs stamp set for the greeting. I love this one. This is a very basic set. It does come as a bundle with a punch that you can punch out your greetings, but it's got a lot of nice different ones in here. And I just chose the happy birthday because I thought this actually is kind of more of a masculine card for me. So I stamped that with the copper clay on the very vanilla, and I die cut it with the Stylish Shapes dies. And then I just, because with that particular die, it was a little bit too long for me. It was going to kind of almost go up to the tree trunk there. So I just cut it straight on the right-hand side. And then we are just going to put that, we're gonna just sort of line that up with the edge of the designer paper, however high or low that you would like. Okay, sort of like that, right at the edge. And then the last thing, excuse me, we're going to add are some of these embellishments. These are the adhesive back textured dots. And if you are looking for them, they are in the large catalog, because I thought, where are those? I found these in my stash and I thought, are those current? Where do those come from? And they are still current. They are part of the Wildly Flowering Suite on page 41 of the large catalog. They are right here, and they are really, really neat. There you can see this little detail on top of the dots, and you get some different sizes, 2 different sizes, and it's kind of like a, I don't know, very masculine looking to me, kind of industrial sort of looking. So I'm just going to put 2 of those on this little greeting. Maybe I should use the small ones. This one I use the larger ones. I don't know. What should I do? Oh my gosh, Monday. I'm very indecisive today. Have you ever had one of those days where, oof, just kind of everything gets off to a slow start, it seems, and the brain just needs to catch up? Okay, let's do the little ones on this one. And there you go. That is our Twisted in Time card. So I hope you give that a try and definitely take a look at the online exclusives on the Stampin' Up! Website. You can also find it on my website, but there is an online exclusive category, and they keep adding. We are just going to be adding actually some new ones here, and I think maybe even tomorrow they're going to launch, or in a day or two. And they keep adding new products, and they don't appear in any publication, any mini, anything like that. Um, but they are some extra items that you might, find interesting. I think, oh my gosh, that is really cool. And that is where that you can find this Twisted in Time bundle. So I hope you enjoyed that project today, and we will see you again next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.